Okay, I've tried to record this video about 4 times and it just won't save. So we're gonna try a new way of doing this, and if it doesn't work, then we'll just roll with it. I decided to do my final project on COVID-19 just because I think that it's pretty relevant and it's really interesting to learn about. It kind of reminded me, doing this assignment reminded me of the project that we did earlier in the semester, the viral spread, because it's pretty much the same thing. With COVID-19, I decided I was going to do some research just to make sure that I had like my information correct, because obviously I don't want to like go through and do like the specific math for like each month and like each area of the world and like how it was growing and figure it out. So I just kind of looked it up. My prediction, or I guess like what I guessed it would be, was that it was going to be an exponential growth type, just given how fast it went from like one person in China has it to all of a sudden like just a few months later like everything in the US was like shut down because of it. So I kind of predicted that it was spreading so rapidly that it was exponential, and I was right for a little bit, but it looks like scientists are also saying that it's kind of turned into more of a linear thing, because at first it was spreading like so rapidly, like the cases were just like doubling and then tripling like every single day, but it's gotten to the point now where this is kind of an old article, so it could be a little bit outdated, but in the summertime at least, the cases were growing at like a pretty steady rate. So like every day we were like having like 300 more cases, and then the next day it was like 300 new cases, and the next day 300 new cases, instead of like 300 cases one day and then like 600 the next day and then 900 the next day. So it was going more into a linear growth. And the reason that it's important for us to have math and these kind of things is to know how to react when a new virus shows up and it has the potential to cause an epidemic or even a pandemic throughout the whole entire world. When scientists kind of figured out how rapidly it could spread, and then we saw how rapidly it did spread, like all of a sudden Italy was just like shut down. That allowed scientists and epidemiologists to put in like protocols of how to keep us safe, like social distancing and wearing a mask, and just different things like that. So the math for this was really important because they were able to predict that it was going to grow exponentially and that it was something that needed to be taken seriously. Unfortunately, not everybody did take it seriously, so it still continued to spread more than epidemiologists and scientists would have liked it to, but there's nothing that they could really do about that. But it's cool to see that the math went from like an exponential growth, which is what I thought, to all of a sudden being linear, and I think we might be back at exponential or just even like linear at a higher slope, because right now, especially in Utah even, we're having so many more cases like every single day, like people just keep testing positive, and there's not really anything that they're doing to like try to slow the spread, but it is definitely continuing to grow. So I think that that's really interesting, and it was kind of interesting to see how math applied in this situation, because a lot of people talk about science, especially with like how it spreads, but it's cool to see that we can use math to predict how it will spread and then use that to protect ourselves in the future if we choose to follow what they're telling us.